Hello everyone. In today's video we are going to learn about intervals. So there are three types of intervals: open interval, closed interval and semi-open or semi-closed interval. So we are going to discuss each of these one by one. So let's start with open interval. So let's assume that there is a number x and it is greater than a and less than b. So this is an open interval. If I put some values of a and b here, so let's say a is 5 and b is 10. So here x is any number greater than 5 and less than 10. So basically here you can see that all the values in between 5 and 10 will be included, but 5 and 10 itself will not be included in the values for x, because it's clearly saying x is greater than 5, so any number greater than 5 and less than 10. So that means any number less than 10, but not 5 and 10. So this is an open interval. And in a closed interval, what we have? We have x is greater than a, greater than or equal to a and less than equal to b. So if I again put the same values here, so this will become x is greater than equal to 5 and less than equal to 10. That means x can take any values in between 5 and 10, and it can also take 5 and 10 in its values. That means it can be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and there will be decimal numbers in between also. You can also consider them. For simplicity, I'm just taking whole numbers here. So this is the difference between open interval and closed interval. In open interval, you do not consider the end points, but in closed interval, you consider the end points also. Now let's see the last type here, that is semi-open or semi-closed interval. In these type of intervals, one end is open and the other end is closed. So let's understand this. So let's say x is any number where x is greater than a and less than or equal to b. So you can clearly see here that this end is open here and this end is closed. That's why we say it is semi-open or semi-closed, because it's a combination of both of them. So if I modify the example, so it would, according to the above values 5 and 10, so it will become x is greater than 5 and less than equal to 10. That means it can take the values, all the values that are greater than 5 and less than or equal to 10. That means it can take 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but it cannot take 5 in its values. This is a semi-interval, and the other way can also be x is greater than equal to a and less than b. So here this end is closed and the other end is open. Now, for example, we can write it like this: x is greater than equal to 5 and less than 10. So these are the three types of intervals we have. If you have the good understanding of inequations, then you can clearly understand the intervals. Now there's another way of representing intervals, and that is basically called the interval notation. So to represent an open interval, we put the numbers inside these parentheses, right? So here if x is greater than a and less than b, so in interval notation I can write it as open parenthesis a comma b. So if we do this example, so it will be open parenthesis 5 comma 10, which says here that it can take all the values between 5 and 10. Similarly, if I have to represent the closed interval in interval notation, so it would be square brackets, and inside these square brackets we will put the endpoints again, which are a comma b. So using this equation, I can write it as square brackets 5 comma 10. So this is the another way of representing a closed interval. Now, if we talk about semi-open or semi-closed interval, so here you can see that in this example here, this end is open. So I will put an open interval here and the other end is closed. So I will put a closed interval here or a square bracket here, and then I will write the endpoints. This is how we are going to represent it in the interval notation. Similarly, here you can see this end is closed here. So I'll put a square bracket here. I'll put 5, 10, and the other end is open. So I'll put this parenthesis here. So this is the way that we represent the intervals in interval notation. Now, one last thing we need to understand is how we represent them graphically, because we are going to use this concept in the next video. So be very careful and understand everything carefully. So the way of representing open intervals graphically is, if let's say we have to represent open interval 5, 10, then what we will do, that we will consider 5 and 10, and here we know that all the values between 5 and 10 are included, but 5 and 10 will not be included. So we will put a hollow circle above 5 and 10, right? I think I need to draw it again. It's not that clear. So wait a minute. So what we will do here, that we will draw a line and we will put hollow circles on both the ends. One end is showing us 5, the other end is showing us 10, and it means that all the values in between 5 and 10 are included, but 5 and 10 are not included. So we always use hollow circles to represent open interval. Let's say that if it was closed interval 5, 10. So to represent closed interval, we always put complete circles, right? Completely filled circles. So this would be the way we would be representing a closed interval. And it clearly shows that all the values in between and also 5 and 10 are included. And when we have to represent a semi-open or semi-closed interval, if this one end is open, let's say this one, so we'll put a hollow circle here, and if the other end is closed, we'll put this black circle there. And if let's say this end is closed, so we'll put black circle here, right? Completely filled circle. And if the other end is open, we will put hollow circle there. So this is the way of representing a semi-interval. I hope this makes sense. If there are any doubts, feel free to reach me out on my mail. I have already given that to you in the description box. And please do hit the like button and subscribe my channel. Thank you for watching.